Good morning. I'm doing this from my phone, so if it gets shaky, it's because I'm holding my phone and trying to record at the same time. This will be a video about decimals. For fourth grade, we go out to the hundredths place. So if you think about a place value chart, we would have our decimal here. This would be the ones place. This would be the tens place. And let me zoom in. Okay. To the right of the decimal, we have the tenths, Tenths. Sometimes you'll see us just put the number. And we have the hundredths place with the D at the THS. Okay. These values to the right are less than 1. So if you think about dimes and pennies, this is where you would use this part of the place value chart to show those types of amounts. For example, 34 cents will be written as such. You might see it this way in the decimal format using the $sign. Down here, I'm just going to show a few examples of how you would show these amounts. And then I'm going to try to explain one more thing in kind of a quick fashion. So we say this number as 1 3/10. We know this is tenths because if we recorded it in a place value chart, it would finish at this place value point, okay? In order to show this amount, we see that there's one whole. So we're going to color in this entire first box. I'm going to do this kind of quickly. Okay, so that's the one whole part. And then 3/10. We can see that this is broken into 10 sections. And since these are representing amounts less than a whole now, we would color in 1, 2, 3 of those sections. This is 1 3/10. We know that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tenths that are not shaded. Okay, that'll come in handy when I show you the next page. All right, the next number I'm going to show is 8/10. Now, because 8/10 does not have a whole, think about this as like 80 cents. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. We can see that there are 2 tenths that are not shaded. So 8/10 is 8 of these shaded in. In the same way, we could also show 80 hundredths. The hundredths is because this is broken up into 100 boxes, but we would still color in the same amount because, as I told you, this is like 80 cents. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and 80. 80 hundredths is the same as 8/10. Now, as you can see, there is a difference in how the sections are broken up, so that's why I say them differently. This is broken up into tenths, so I say it as 8/10. And this is broken up into hundredths, so I say it as 80 hundredths. All right. The next example is the difference between 1 5 hundredths and 1 50 hundredths. Pay attention to the fact that this one has a 0 and then a 5 after the decimal point, and this one has a 5 and then a 0. The order is flipped around and the value is different. They both have one whole. Okay. And then this one only has 5 of the 100 shaded in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 hundredths. This is 1 50 hundredths. So I will color in 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. As you can see, very different. 1 and 5 hundredths, 1 and 50 hundredths. You hear me saying and. We say and to signify the decimal point. And then the last example is 87 hundredths. So that's 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and then I need to color in 7 more. I can do that rather quickly if I know that 7 and 3 make 10. I can just leave 3 of them blank. That lets me know I've colored in 7. Okay, last part. Video's getting longer than I would have hoped. Hopefully it'll upload correctly. Okay, here, sometimes you'll see that the images are darkened so much so that you can't actually count the squares, but you have to use the thought of subtraction. So here, I know that this is all supposed to be 100, right? We saw the example like over here. Well, if I see that all of this part is shaded in, but only this part here, 10, 23, okay, 23 is still unshaded. I know that the shaded amount is 77. If you think about subtraction, we know that 100 minus, and the part that we can see and verify is the 23, okay? We use the process of regrouping. All right, 77. So sometimes we have to think of the missing part. If I can't see it, over time you'll be able to kind of like count it in your head anyway. But if not, use the process of subtraction to help you figure out what is this darkened amount if you can't physically like count all of the dots and you're confused. All right. We're doing this activity in class. I have, who has. So for example, I have, you would count and consider what is your shaded amount. For example, here, this is 10, 20, 30, 40. And no, I have 48 and there's 2 still blank. So that's how I know it's 48. Hold on, I'm sorry, I'm not even showing the right one. Sorry. This is 48. 48 hundredths. I would ask then, who has 64 hundredths? The person that has that number would need to raise their hand and show me their card. And there's actually 2 pages to go along with it. But that is something that we're practicing in class. I will try to upload a picture of this so that you all can practice identifying these amounts at home.